Okay.
Yeah, ready?
Yes.
Okay. Call the meeting to order, roll call.
Vote.
Here.
Van Bittner. Hopkins.
Yeah.
Trantham.
Here.
Sharon. Here. Kyle Whitner.
Here.
Riley.
Here.
Most.
Here.
Number 2, petitions by citizens on non-agenda items. What up?
Yeah, I'm just concerned about all the water leaks that's been happening, and it's all, I mean, it's very costly to the homeowners, and it just seems like they're all over town. It's just not, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the plumbers are even saying, we can't believe how many water leaks is going on, and this has all happened since the change of the water system. So, very concerned about why is this happening?
Okay.
And it's very costly, you know, to the homeowners. Anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000. And, you know, and when also was that changed where the water, like where the homeowners was responsible from, I thought the homeowner was responsible from the meter to the house. Supposedly that's all changed. And when did that change?
I've been in City Hall for 10 years, and it was this way when I came in. It has not changed recently.
So it's still meter to the house is the citizen's responsibility?
No, it's from the curb stop to your house.
Okay.
But that's been,
Well, then it's not-
that's
Well,
actually,
now,
it's been from the curb stop to your home for all the years that I've lived in Waterloo.
Well, there was a lady around the corner from us, and she said because her leak was on the other side of the meter, the city paid for all the repairs. And I saw the city there working on it and everything. And when we were discussing it, she goes, no, it didn't cost us anything because the leak was on the other side of the meter. And I said, well, Sue's leak was on the other side of the meter and it cost her close to $3,000. But that's come I'm not understanding where we're on the line at.
I'm not disputing what you said, but I don't believe that's the case.
Yeah, well, I don't feel that the lady had any reason for not telling me the truth.
I'm not saying that she's telling you the truth, but that's not our policy, and that's not what we've done for the 20 years that I've been here.
Okay. Are you guys aware of all the leaks?
We are.
So the number of leaks, is it more, less than normal?
I would like, actually JR, our Director of Public Works, JR Landak, is going to cover this a little bit later in the
Okay,
meeting.
that sounds good.
And he could probably clear up a lot of it for you. So our policy on what belongs to the homeowner and what belongs to the city has not changed.
Well, Nathan brought me out a piece of paper that said this was, and he said they changed this. I don't know when it was changed, but he brought out a piece of paper that said where the homeowners was responsible for it. And the guys from the city, when they come out, they said, okay, if it's from here to here, it's us. Is it here to there, it's you. And of course, it was on us. And everybody that's had leaks, I feel like
That has not changed in at least 2 decades. Nathan is doing drop-off at school this evening. He will be here in a little bit, and he can answer directly to what you talked about.
I'm also here about the water leaks.
Yes, ma'am.
And I had a very costly repair bill, almost 2, because after the first leak was repaired, something else broke, and the plumber had to come back out and redig my yard up. I have spoken with 2 other people that work for 2 different public works, 2 different water companies, and they think that we are, as the citizens, are being lied to because it doesn't make sense that the city would allow some Joe Schmo plumber to tap into their curb stop. The city should want to keep their water main and everything on that side of the meter with their people, their plumbers, whatever. I don't know, but if
So
there's
should we change our rules after all these years? Because
well,
we
if
don't
you're
have
talk
those.
to the citizens of Waterloo.
We don't have those issues in the older section of town where it was done the same way.
gonna talk about it later.
But we're gonna talk about it at length.
Excuse me, I'm the same way. I understand what you're saying as far as what the rule is and all that, but there has to be some correlation between your startup of this water system that was put in this year, whether it's pH, whether it's caused corrosion around the copper fittings, whether it was pressure, whether it was something else, but there's something there that caused this. And it's all around copper piping, at least everyone I've talked to, on the fitting. And they said it's corrosion, something's taken this off. I have a house that's 7 years old. The person that lives behind this lady here, 4 years old house. Hers is 15.
Mine's 15.
So it's all, I can understand some of these older houses, they probably have all the good copper, probably.
Well, and he told me I had the best copper that I could have in there.
But there's some correlation between this startup. So my question is, has the EPA, either state or federal EPA, audited you guys' startup? I don't know, maybe you'll talk about that.
And the taste of the water is absolutely disgusting now. And I agree with Mr.
Our water quality is second to none in this area. And it's
That is
downtown.
not true. That can't be. I can smell my water in the next room when this faucet's run.
The city will be happy to test your water for you.
I'm not saying it doesn't meet your qualifications. I'm talking about it's not the best water. We've lived other places. It's terrible water here.
Okay?
And it all happened after the startup. We did have good water. I lived out of town, right outside of town, and we had great water when we first moved in 2020. And then after the startup, it smells funny, it tastes disgusting, it's nasty. And I agree with him on the corrosion of the fittings, because I saw it. The second time the plumber came out, he showed me the fitting, and it was corroded. There was a spot where you could tell where it had been leaking because it was eaten away. What's eating it? It doesn't make any sense. Other than the fact that there's something wrong with the water.
Okay, go ahead, Ron. We'll listen to
J.R. Landak, actually our Director of Public Works, will cover all of this in his report.
I have two other questions. One is the leakage of the water, or is there any kind of relief for the homeowner to get some relief on the leakage? There's so many leakage. How long did it take to get a plumber out?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Because he was so busy fixing up.
So she couldn't turn the water off. I mean, that water's constantly going. I don't know what the water bill is out because we haven't gotten them yet.
Well, they told me when the city come out, they said I would not be responsible for the water because it wasn't going through the meter.
I was told the opposite.
That's what they told me too.
If it doesn't go through the meter, we don't know about it.
Right.
Right, but isn't that
If it
on your
does-
side
But
then?
if it doesn't go through the meter, isn't it on the city side?
If it doesn't go through the meter, you can't be charged for it.
Mine did. Mine was on the other side of the meter.
Right.
So I understand your
Right.
legal wise. You guys are.
If it does not go through your meter, we don't know about it.
But is there any relief knowing that we have all these leaks going on? There should be some relief to the citizens here. We pay our bill every month. We're good citizens, and I mean, there should be some kind of I talked to 2 or 3 other plumbers, they live in other cities. Said, yeah, usually you get a one-time shot. You got a leak, they give you some relief the first time, and it's over. But what about the sewer bills? Are we going to have to triple 3 times the sewer bill? Is that going to be covered? Do we have to pay that? Those are the kind of questions we have. Getting the cost of the fix, I know that's a lost cause here, but I'm just talking about the water leak itself. You know there's a problem. You're monitoring water here at City Hall, so you know there's a problem throughout all.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
You're monitoring the water.
We are.
Absolutely. I got a call to say I had a leak, and I thought that was the best thing I ever heard from a
Correct.
city.
Right.
She thought it was the toilet leak, and so she had to turn her toilet
So you
off
know
that
how-
night, and it wasn't the toilet.
So you know-
We didn't even have a wet spot in our yard.
So you know how much water we typically use. You know what the leakage is. I mean, you have it records, I'm sure.
Correct.
We should get relief on that, on the water bill and the
We
sewer.
monitor 5,000 meters.
Yeah.
I don't have enough employees to do that.
I'm not asking you to do that. I'm not asking you. You did it. I'm applauding you for doing it.
That you caught it.
That you caught it, that I knew, I didn't know I had a leak.
We do that as a courtesy to
I
you.
know, I'm just saying, this is, so you know how much water was leaked. It isn't like we used the water. You know the water didn't go down the sewer, so you didn't have to treat it. So we should get relief on the leakage of the water
So
and the sewer bill.
If in fact your commode is leaking or something else in your house is leaking, it is going through the sewer.
It
Or if
wasn't
it's in your
that,
yard,
but
but
it's not though.
Well, my question.
It sounds like yours was in the yard.
Yeah.
Right?
But our yard
So
wasn't even
they
wet.
should be able to call and get relief at least on the sewer bill because it's not going down the sewer.
Correct.
Yeah.
If we know that it's not going down the sewer, we do that.
But my question is, this is an agenda item. We're talking.
It is.
So I don't. Do we want to move the agenda
Yeah.
around to deal with this now, or do we
Whoever
want?
wants going to talk, we were going to wait till after you talked with you guys. Ask us to talk.
No, and I'm just saying
This is the
I don't.
problem.
We can move the agenda around and just.
You want to send it to the Water and Sewer Committee? Which would be
No.
No, I don't want to do that. We have a whole.
JR, are you ready?
I can be ready.
Let's start right now.
Yeah. Let's get to jail.
Thank you.
Actually, I probably at this point I have to have a motion in order to change
I'll
the
make that
agenda.
motion.
Right.
And a second.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
And we are now changing the agenda in order to put JR as number 3.
Who did the motion and second on that?
John and Joe.
Thank you.
I will get a PowerPoint presentation, so I will modify that a little bit. Nathan was going to be a part of that, but I can cover the leaks.
Boy,
Wait, should we have waited?
if we want to wait for Nathan, I mean, we're
No,
just.
I'm,
I mean,
I
we
get
can.
this will be a topic that'll be lengthy, so I'm
I don't want to mess you up by going earlier. We can wait 10 minutes and go there.
Sorry for screwing up the meeting here.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah, no.
all right. Okay, this is kind of in the middle of my presentation, PowerPoint presentation, addressing some of the concerns that are discussed here. And I appreciate alleviating that conversation and getting going here. I believe
Thank you.
Mr. McKeon, I think I talked to you.
Yeah, you absolutely did. I appreciate you talking.
And I realize there are, I've got guys in the field talking to the residents. Nathan's going out talking to the residents. The neighbors talk, people talk, social media talks. I realize that. So here to combat some of the neighborhood talk, if you
Sure.
will. We recognize there are leaks. We have leaks every year in the city. I've gone back in time through some of our work orders that go back to 2023, just identifying what those leaks are, reviewing whose responsibility it is, all that type of stuff. So I'll start out with, again, my guys are in the field talking to folks, whose responsibility is it? I believe we are consistent with our message because we have this document. I know it's probably a little hard to see from the back of the room here, but this is our standard detail, our standard drawing that goes into our construction documents for a developer. I will zoom in a little bit tighter here. This is a blow up. I've highlighted the area here. I'll use this on. When the developer installs the water main, when I say developer, a newer subdivision or a re-subdivision or a new development, the developer will install the water main, what's called the curb stop. There's the curb stop, or this is the curb stop, I'm sorry. Here, there's a whip, copper whip that goes to what we're referring to as the curb stop. Typically in the parkway, the tree lawn area behind the sidewalk, some of those locations where this is located. The developer installs that at the time of the subdivision, and then a homeowner comes in or a builder comes in and builds the home and is responsible from this flared fitting to the home or to the meter, through the meter to the home. This is on the new developments. City supplies the water meter itself because it's connected into our AMI system, so we can read the meters, identify if there's extreme water usage. Our system, we go in and look at those things to see if there's a lot of water usage. We can identify when someone's using 10 gallons. We can see it, but we don't know if somebody's home, if a bathroom's running. Everybody's home's different. One person living in a home versus a family of 7, obviously, but we can kind of monitor if there's a spike. So it's kind of visual looking at the data every 15 minutes. So that's a water meter. This is an example of a new development. We do have water meters in the city that reside in the residence, in the basement, in a crawl space, in a closet. Kind of depends on the development itself. So again, this is where the property owner's responsibility is. We are seeing, and Jim provided this to me, and I'll kind of bounce back and forth. This is an example of Jim Hopkins' neighbor, is that correct?
Correct. He's here. Sue, this is you.
Okay. So, kind of working backwards, the picture I'm providing here's the water meter. This is the water meter right at this location. See all the flared fittings in various locations. I'll go back a page. This is the meter pit or vault that it sits in the ground. This picture, the vault has been removed. We work back this way. Here's the curb stop. The ball valve in the ground. There's a buffalo box or B box that comes up, or a curb stop box that comes up, where we can pull the lid off and turn the valve shut or open. And then from this point here, I know it's a little hard to see, but I believe the whip dives down and connects into the corporation stop, and then connects into whatever water main is there. Again, the developer builds to here at this location. That's installed typically before the house is constructed. That is in the yard, just like the sewer clean out is in the yard already to the property as well.
And those are done under city supervision.
That is correct.
Yeah, right. The developer puts it in and then we supervise.
But it is inspected and supervised by the city. It can't be covered up until it's inspected.
That is correct.
Correct.
Can I just ask one question while you're here?
Yes.
I understand the mayor was talking about this has been a long practice, put the meter on our side, our responsibility, which makes no sense to anybody that's ever worked on our stuff. We had 4 plumbers and they've never heard this. They were not from Waterloo, but from other cities. They said that's doesn't sound right, but that's the rule. Why would you do that? Because that's where if you're going to have a leak, it's going to be at a fitting. That's exactly right. I mean, why would you not take control from the curb stop at least to the inlet of the meter? That doesn't make any sense to me.
You can find different municipalities have different rules. Some align with the city of Waterloo, others don't. Other municipalities install from the tap that's on the main,
right,
all the way on the backside of the meter. Some just install the tap to the corporation stop. It varies. Water company varies as well based on the municipality's charter that dictates that. So it depends. I've worked in East St. Louis, a lot of municipalities in St. Louis as well. So they all vary. So a plumber saying, well, this is how it should be or shouldn't be.
No, that's not saying that's what they've seen.
Okay.
You're not saying right or wrong. But when they were saying, well, this was on their side, like, it doesn't matter here in Waterloo.
I can, I guess, vouch. You can take for my opinion, whatever. What JR's saying is correct. I do plumbing design for a living, and that is a pretty typical installation how we do it, especially for residences.
I mean, we don't own the meter, so I don't know why we're responsible for it. But that's fine.
And on the other token would be, when we have a meter in the home, where does the demarcation of that stop? Technically, the city does not have any authority to come on, your property to fix that, to come to the house and replace that service.
So if the meter breaks, do I have to pay for a new meter?
No.
No, it's a city supplied meter.
Okay.
I mean, just like you look at it as the gas main as well. It's a city
That
supplied.
makes sense.
We have to install the gas because we're responsible for it. The city is responsible for it.
Okay, I get that part.
JR.
Yes.
Here, let me see.
So where are you saying the meter is? Because that's not where my meter is. Are you saying the meter is right there in that, on that picture?
Yeah. And then-
No, that's not where my
right there.
meter is.
Is yours in the house? Mine's in the house.
No, mine's not in the house, but it's up from that.
What is the,
This is the picture you provided me that I thought was yours.
Yeah, it is.
That's yours, Cheryl.
in our yards, I just gotta get this clear in my mind.
Yes.
In our yards, in my yard, I got this big round brass thing that says water.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's your meter. That's your meter vault. The meter's inside that.
The meter's inside that,
Correct.
down underground.
Well, it's yes.
This would
It's
be-
accessible. You pop the manhole and the meter's in the. So it's got to be in the ground so it doesn't freeze.
Okay.
This would be the cross section
Right.
of that. Here's the metal lid you're looking at that has a 5-sided bolt or nut on top of it that allows us to have access to open it. And then the meter sits down in the ground a couple feet below grade so it doesn't freeze.
So the buffalo box that JR's, I mean, that's what it's called. That's the smaller looking thing out on the street side before you get to the bigger manhole. The smaller one, that's your curb stop.
Okay.
That's where if you didn't pay your bill, we can come shut your water off at because we own that valve.
Okay. Where's that at?
That's the curb stop.
It's
only
probably
about this far
three.
away. Really.
Right. Sometimes it's short, sometimes it's long.
Oh.
I got a meter in my basement, so all I have is a curb stop out front. I got an old house, so I don't have a meter pit.
It just kind of depends on the location of the house, easements, that type of stuff, where they are. But in general, the meter and the curb stop are relatively close to each other in that instance. Obviously, if the meter's in the basement of a home, that's not the case. So again, this is the curb stop. It's about a 3-inch diameter black disc. You'll see in the yard as well. A lot of times they get buried. You'll see the guys out there using a metal locator to find them to uncover those. Sometimes we have to take them out to turn the valve off, the curb stop off, because it hasn't been turned off in a long time. So is that everybody kind of clear on the order of operation?
Right.
I think you probably should clarify that when the curb stop is put in, it could be 6 months, a year, 5 years
10 years.
before a meter's put in. 10 years. So we can't install all the way through the meter because there's no home there, and we actually don't know what the home is going to look like or where it's going to sit on the property. So we can't actually put that meter in.
I understand that.
It's an expense. It's an expense that would be sitting there. Similar to the gas one.
Well, I mean, that would mean that somebody else is actually, or the developer's putting it in, and the developer's not going to put that in 10 years before a house is built there.
So as far as
That's why we stopped at the curb stop. Because after that, after the curb stop, it could be 10 years before the rest of it's actually put in.
And our message when we meet with folks is consistent with here. There might be, for instance, an example where the woman on the end there, your neighbor, we paid for it. It could have been this flared fitting on this side of the curb stop, but everything could have been excavated up. You know, what we take responsibility. I mean, like my guys take responsibility. If it's ours, you know, we're going to fix it one way.
And if
we don't want to be doing
if
it.
we're not quite sure if it's ours, one way or the other, we're going to take responsibility for it anyway. If we're not sure which one of those is, and we're digging it up, we're gonna take responsibility for it.
See, that's the disconnect we have. We're not questioning that design, really. We're questioning what are causing her, mine, her, 2 other people a block over within 2 months, that have the same issue. And the only really big thing we can think of that has changed is a water system that was changed overnight within a month, within the last 6 months. That's the biggest change that was made. I mean, there's got to be some correlation here. I mean, but go ahead.
Okay.
You got numbers, I don't.
So, if we address this here,
Yes, that's not the issue. It's
Just one
design.
thing. First of all, I do not have a dog in this fight. My water has not started leaking, thank God. I wait every day because everybody on my street is, Anyway, I was walking my dog one morning and a plumber pulled up and they had the big truck and he was at the wrong house and he said to me, and I didn't know this plumber, the city's lying to you guys. They've got bad fittings and they're not standing up for it. Now that's what a plumber made. He didn't know me from Adam. I was just walking my dog down the street.
okay.
So if it is a bad fitting, I agree the city can't change all their rules and regulations and that's the way it's gonna be. But if we know that it's a bad fitting and the city knows it's a bad fitting, can't we act on it instead of reacting for people getting, Bob and Linda paid $4,600 to get theirs fixed. And
I was quoted $2,600 to $5,000.
And, fortunately for us, financially, but some of these young kids that are moving in our subdivisions, they're gonna have to go to a bank and get loans to get this stuff fixed.
Or older seniors.
Or older seniors.
Living on a fixed income.
So if it is a bad fitting problem,
I guess I can continue on with the conversation because I've got some other information. But Nathan Kriegel is here as well, Deputy Director of Public Works. He's been helping me with this. We haven't gone over the violation stuff yet, so we kind of skipped around. So giving you an update there. But I think this was a conversation and a discussion, so that's been addressed to the council. I just want to make sure that everybody's good with that.
Well, I guess my question to her question was, if it's after the curb stop, the fittings are installed by the contractor. We didn't put those fittings in, so we don't see those fittings ever. So,
But you approved the inspection.
yeah.
You just got done saying that the city did the inspection.
No, we do not.
Not after the curb stop.
You just said
That's
that
what
they
you just said.
After the curb stop, that's true. When the developer puts it
And
in,
that's where they're leaking is after the curb stop.
that's
right.
So the city approved
that's
it.
your licensed plumber should be putting that in.
So where we're finding most of the leaks, or hearing most of the leaks, and I'll discuss this, but it's around the fittings, the copper fittings around the meter set itself.
That's correct.
That's where we're seeing them. So there have been some on our side, which we are addressing. The city's been coming out. We investigated first to make sure it's not our issue. Obviously, we're communicating with the property owners. Nathan's talked to some. I've talked to some, along with our guys in the field as well. So what we're finding them are the leaks in this location, and then sometimes there is a whip, a small section that transitions from a copper line to a plastic PVC PEX pipe type of material where the leaks are. We're also seeing leaks at the foundation where there's settlement and stuff. So, but that
Do we provide the meter, Joe? Does that come with the meter, or we just provide the meter itself?
meter. That's it.
Okay.
So where do the
So everything else.
If there's bad fittings, they don't belong to the city and we're not installing them.
We have a
I
spec
have
sheet
that fitting.
that lists all the part materials for everything.
Right.
But what would be causing all of these fittings to fail?
Okay,
It doesn't make sense.
continue here. So we've been identifying the leaks. I hit guys. We have guys in the field that are getting calls. We have other priorities in the city that need to be done. My concern is we're not getting all of our work done that we need to be doing because we've been investigating out in the field with the leaks. I mean, we've been since day one looking at it, going, okay, we've got perhaps perhaps a few more leaks than we normally would annually. We are going to have leaks regardless. We've been fortunate, knock on wood, and I hope everybody else will, that we haven't had any significant water main breaks. And we had a contractor hit the water main a couple times up in the Quail Ridge, Remington Ridge area. But those have been some issues, but we've been pretty fortunate because other areas have had water main breaks because of ground movement to that. So I started investigating, looking into it. We have, like I said earlier, we have the work order system in-house, trying to see, okay, identifying, where are they falling, what's going on. We have met, Jim Hopkins, the mayor, and I met with one resident, I guess you'd call it, in the area recently as well, and walked through these. These are not necessarily confirmed leaks. Some of these are, I have water in my yard. Someone will tell me that it'll be water in my yard, we'll go out, it's a sump pump drain. We've had a lot of those. The Animal Farms apparently has a lot of those, so that's where some of those have been coming in. But when I look at this, just trying to identify the number of leaks, where they're at, trying to figure out, okay, what is a common issue here? So we'll go on to the next item. The guys in the field have identified, and Mr. McKeon confirmed that there are a lot of them around these flare fittings that we're seeing, and it's on that meter set, general location. We've done some external, internal research on some of these causes because it's a concern to us. Obviously, we transitioned to a new water system, and we want to make sure that, okay, it is not an issue. So we were immediately investigating this, looking at it, discussed with others. We contacted our engineer record that does a lot of this work for us, contacted other professionals as well. I contacted some of the other communities that we have close relationships with, or I've had relationships with, to see, what's going on. It's this potentially this new, an idea of potentially this new copper, this K copper that has come out, along with the flare fittings, is something that has come up. The question that came up as well is the PSI, the additional pressure from the elevated tower that we're 7 feet taller, some were 6, 7 feet taller at its peak. It's not there very long, but at its peak it's 3.5 PSI, which is not a lot, but it could impact.
Because we're what, normally around 50? That's the average?
70-ish.
That's the average in the system.
I would say around 70,
okay.
65.
And you can never see a heavy spike like a 90 or...
You can't.
No,
it's as tall as the tower is. That's as high as the pressure can be.
And that's all monitored with your computer system?
That's correct.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a constant pressure. Just have an abrupt, one-time hit. You can damage a weak spot in a line. Obviously,
you could have the opposite with a water main break. Obviously, the pressure reducing, but it's elevated. The booster pump stations that we have, the booster pumps, they pump it to the elevated tower. Then there's it's gravity. So there's not a boost. There's not a pump on there to increase.
There's no potential for water hammer anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no stop or hard closing valve in the system.
We're 6 inches from overflow, so we can't add.
We get our water by gravity, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the water's main stay full all the time.
Yes. That's correct. So again, the 3.5 PSI. I've identified, some of these, I'll say the newer subdivisions that are having the problems. Silver Creek subdivision is on Lakeview Drive. It is in the low-lying area, low-lying of the city. I'm just kind of investigating, looking at those leaks over there, and that would be the highest pressure location in the city that we're seeing. Some of those locations will be up to 100 PSI. We've been out there. We have tested, spigots that are, people's homes. We've done that, looked at that avenue, but we don't have the number of leaks in Silver Creek subdivision. Different developer, potentially different plumbers. It just kind of all depends.
Different age homes. This is happening to young and older homes.
Yeah.
Like suddenly a 15-year-old home, this is happening.
And so you're correct. So if I go back to that map, and I talk about the copper, the new copper that was instituted early 2000s. You know, we had the housing boom, right? Monroe County had a big housing boom, 2009, 2008. A lot of these homes. If I were to take this map, what's that?
It was before that, yeah.
But I mean, that's, so there's a supply demand, the supply issue on copper. So it's, the copper was produced, it's not as high quality copper as it I'll say it used to be, for lack of a better term. If I were to take, this is a Google Earth map, and Jim, you could probably contest to this. When I turn off, and when I go back in time, and Google Earth can go back in time, I can go back to 1998 and 2002, I would say 90% of these spots, the homes weren't there at the time. Yeah. And I would say it's kind of neat, but you kind of see that spectrum of, it's the newer homes, 20 years old, 15 years old, 2 years old. We have some in Adelaide States that aren't even a year old that have the same issue. So just kind of looking at it globally across the board, it's that new copper slash the flares. That's where that's at. So just for example, that's where we're seeing them. Again, annually we have water leaks. They happen.
Yeah, sure.
But at the time, we just kind of start looking at them and seeing. Some of them we don't have on record because a lot of times it's a water leak. They call on the radio. Our crews go out and look at it immediately. So not everything was recorded. Since I've started January 1, it's somebody calls in, it gets a work order regardless of what it is, just to keep track of, you know, where our time is spent, what we need to invest our time in the future.
So we don't have a ballpark on like a percentage increase? Not really.
No, not really.
If there is an increase.
Right.
It's just unfortunately we have a
cluster, let's put it that way.
Well, we have there's a magnifying glass on the water because it's new and it's,
yep.
Yeah. And so everything's going to get attributed to that even if it may not be.
So the water chemistry is actually less corrosive today than it was coming from the Mississippi River. We've confirmed that. We also have a corrosion testing rack mandated by the Illinois EPA.
You mean a previous supplier?
Correct.
Correct?
Yes.
Yes, Illinois American, it was more corrosive than it is now with our own water.
But low or high is bad for copper.
But it's, when I say more corrosive, woman behind you mentioned earlier that it's eating away a fitting, a brass fitting in particular probably, that you're seeing in pictures. I have one on my desk from 3rd Street where we installed it. The fitting wasn't tightened down properly. What happens is that needle of water starts stirring up the ground, in particular sand. A lot of times there's sand around that's what we bed in. That's a requirement to bed. Generally, that sand is moving. That sand actually eats away at the brass fitting. So that, to answer your question about eating away, that's what occurs. Is it's eating that sand moving around, stirring in the ground is actually eating the brass away. So again, that one on my desk that we reference from time.
Again, that would be an improper
installation. That's correct. Thanks, Mayor. So again, down at the water treatment plant, we have a corrosion testing rack. Joel's very familiar with what it is. We have all types of fittings. We copper, lead, PVC.
I mean, is examples of piping sometimes actually removed from the system.
That's correct. Yes,
they're called coupons.
Coupons from.
So you're sampling after the tank. I'm assuming the stuff that we're actually getting.
That's correct.
So
it's potable water.
I mean, this is a new tank. Maybe does that have anything to do with it? I mean, I don't know. It's something odd.
Everything in the system that's new is
that doesn't
way better than anything we've had before.
Yeah, and we've seen some of the water main breaks that have been hit. The pipes are clear, like so. It's
that was the one at Remington. It was it was polished. Like it looked like it had.
It looked like it was brand new.
Yeah, it had been in the ground 20 years. I live out in Remington, so I seen that and I was
I was surprised. I thought you'd see something in there, you know. Yeah.
So we get back to, we have bad copper or inferior copper, whatever you want to call it.
That's good. That's good comment.
Fittings are failing all over the city, apparently. So whose building code is this? Is it Waterloo, or is it the building code of America? Is it who's putting these codes in?
Well, as far as in Illinois, we have a state plumbing code that we have to abide by.
Right.
It's the Illinois state plumbing code.
And what are these? Because we don't. Our house is built and the stuff's underground.
Right.
We can't look at it. I mean, is this copper? Is that still going to be okay to use? I mean, it doesn't seem like a right
It's been
thing.
1K for 40, 50 years, you know.
Huh?
We use, you know, our best materials, Mueller products. That's their name brand, best material. And 1K copper has traditionally been the best material we use.
But we don't control what they put in from the curb stop.
Like bathroom.
Right. After the curb stop,
But you do inspect it.
But you inspect it.
we
so
do not
why-
inspect it. We inspect the development,
Right.
Right.
Not the house.
but not the house. There's no inspection.
No, I'm talking about
on the
outside.
outside.
We're talking about outside right now.
Outside.
We're talking about this issue right here. That's all.
From
Nothing.
the curb stop to the house, do we inspect?
We do not inspect that because Illinois Plumbing Code
Right.
doesn't go past, I believe, 5 foot from the foundation. So
Right.
the plumber puts it in, the plumbing inspector does not inspect that.
That's right.
But
Or
there's-
require
But there's
pressure
a
test.
code of that, what they put in between the house and the.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a code, but obviously copper is,
It's material based.
yeah.
Yes. There's a
Somebody
all
should take a
these.
look
All,
at the
there's
code.
there's a huge list of materials, and most of them I wouldn't allow to be put into my house.
Right.
But
yeah.
that's what the state will allow you to put in. And if your plumber is licensed with the state of Illinois, which they should be, then they have to follow that.
So what are we supposed to do if this just keeps happening? My yard's already been dug up twice. And the plumber is not he's gonna charge me again if he has to come back out. So what am I supposed to do? Just deal with it and keep paying $2,000 every time I get a leak in my yard? I mean, you guys are the city of Waterloo. What am I supposed to do?
So
You got leaks everywhere. Everywhere. And nobody up there at that table seems to care. I hope yours doesn't start leaking.
It's not that we don't care, ma'am.
Because it's not pretty when they have to come dig up your beautiful yard that you've spent a lot of time on. And then you have to pay thousands of dollars to have a plumber come out and fix it. Crickets, right? Just deal with it? Is that what I'm supposed
And
to
it
do?
gets bad to where when the plumber doesn't even want to do any more water leaks, he did so many.
Yeah, I had to wait 3 weeks. I had a swamp in my yard, a mosquito breeding ground.
That was one of my.
Nobody
questions.
cares, right?
I mean, we're not going to cut you a check today, ma'am. I'm
I'm
sorry.
not asking for a check.
But-
I'm asking for a resolution.
There
Nobody
has to be a
seems to have a resolution. Other than, ma'am, if your yard gets flooded again because these pipes are leaking, that's on you, and go pay the plumber another couple $1,000. And deal with settling again. They left it open the last time because he came out twice and had to dig it up because after he fixed the first one, another one started leaking. And he left it open for 3 weeks. I just got back from vacation and it was finally filled in. A massive hole in my yard. I can't even let my kids go out and play in the yard. But Public Works doesn't give a shit, right?
We're really frustrated with the response.
I'm very frustrated with the response. I will say the gentleman that came out initially and inspected my yard, he had to come out twice because the first time he came out he said, oh, there's no leak here. We pumped all the water out of the big bucket thing that's in there. You should be fine. And a week later I had to call the city back and have them back out because my yard was flooded again. Oh yeah, it's a leak. Sorry I missed it the first time. But it's on your side. Call a plumber. I'm calling BS on it, that it's always going to be on my side. Something's going on in this city that needs to be fixed because all of the town is having issues. It's not just Quail Ridge where I live. I'm not sure where these people live, but it's not just their area.
There's 5 and 2 blocks. There's something.
Guy over there in the blue, you're the director of public works. Are you the director of public works?
Deputy.
I'm the director of public works.
And both of you over there have just a little smirk on your face, like, well, we don't know what to tell this lady.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious we're trying to do our diligence.
Correct.
Like we're working on it.
So, JR obviously compiled all of this, gone through this, and I appreciate you breaking this down. I don't know if we interrupted you, if you have more to the presentation as far as root cause and some of that analysis. Is there more to it, or at this point?
So additionally, the copper issue, right? That came up, but we're not finding hearing about there's leaks in the homes. So at that same time frame, right. Copper piping in homes, fittings, that same thing, right? So if we had that issue, then that's process of elimination, looking at the fittings in the home. You're going to get a leak in a home from time to time, right? But we're not seeing that in the home. So if it was a water issue, I think that would corrode through the home. Correct. Same thing.
Most of the time, it's the same plumber doing all that work, right?
No, it's usually it's something else that's different. I think.
No, that's a hard one to answer. I would juggle that one.
Okay.
I would say 50-50. Sometimes the bigger developers, they'll have a crew that gets it to the house, and then the plumber takes it over.
And I disagree with. I think that's a weak spot right there at the meter. I mean, that's where things are happening, right? Going through comes around.
And that's my question there. Is it a combination of factors that is causing this? Like, is it the slightly elevated pressure plus the weaker grade copper maybe in those fittings from where they were installed? Is it a multi-step thing? Everything is a little bit of a factor to create one big problem, or do we know that?
So if it was pressure, then Gilbert Creek, which is a much higher pressure,
right?
Than
They're under and over. So that's true.
So it's not pressure. We know that because there's other neighborhoods that have a lot more pressure than you do.
Well, I'm just saying, if it's an elevated pressure and you got a weak spot, it's going to bind it. That's
right.
Maybe this thing was not put in level. There's all kinds of reasons. Ground settling, like you and I discussed quite a bit. The heat, the rain, all these things have some effects on it. But if there's a weak spot, and this is fine, and you guys had a little bit extra pressure, even though it was a surge, it's going to find a weak spot.
It can't be a surge.
That's what happens.
It cannot be a surge.
It's not possible.
There was higher pressure.
It's gravity, so there can't be a surge.
So we, during development, we pressure test these mains, the services up to the curb stop, 150 PSI. So they pass the pressure test, 150.
I don't doubt that your piping is good.
Right.
I think what you're allowing to be put in Waterloo new construction needs to be looked at, though, because I don't think that's right that you allow people come in and build houses with inferior stuff.
It's not. It's in our construction detail book.
Well, it wouldn't fail then. Wouldn't fail like this.
They're using the same parts that we put in the book.
Okay, then that tells me that there's something that's going on with the water that's causing it.
Old Town, downtown doesn't have that problem.
There's a correlation to the new water system. I don't care how many times you tell me it isn't. There's something there. What was the pressure from the old system? Not less.
3.5 PSI process system.
So I don't know what would find a weak spot, but I'm just saying there's been a change, and the biggest change there has been the water. It's the water quality. All the complaints that they've had with appliances and stuff at the hardness. Our showers are all plugged up and everything else. I mean, everything looks white. And there's a problem with it. We know that.
So we looked into that too. If the hardness were clogging a pore, clogging something, I grew up on a horse farm, and you just tighten the fitting, and the hard water will seal it, right? So that we looked into that. Is it something that we have the hardness? Is it clogging those? But the pressure, into those pores would be, pushing any of that material through. The water hardness, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But the water hardness is less than what it was, slightly less than what it was on our prior service.
So why is people having problems with appliances in Waterloo since the new system came in place?
Don't believe they should be, because the water system, the actual hardness is less than what it was.
For a period of time, it was harder though.
There definitely was a problem somewhere between startup and today. There's a problem with hardness, and there's people all over social media. I know you can believe by half of it, but believe half of it, and it's a lie. You know, I mean, it's the way it is. There's issues with the water. Like I said, I could smell the water in the other room. There's a problem with this water. It's not all this crystally pure water, spring-fed water. It's not that great. There's a problem with it. And I'm not the one that complains. Everyone I talk to says there's a problem with the water, and you guys just think it's sparkling, clean water. And it's
trying to address it. That's why we're attacking this issue.
I know, but you guys have to take responsibility when things go wrong.
So we would, we will test your water for you. Free.
I'm sure it meets all your numbers.
No. What I'm saying is we would test your water, and an independent water test from the elevated tower. You can watch it being tested.
I'm talking about the water in my house. It has a smell to it.
We will take water from your house in order to test it.
I'll go with that, but I know what you're going to say.
No, you can watch us take the water sample from your house. You can watch us take the water sample from the elevated tower, and you can watch it being tested in our lab.
I don't think he's disputing the fact that he can watch. I think he's disputing the fact that it's going to probably pass whatever numbers it is that you guys use, even though ever since this new water system, we have seen
our water quality is controlled by the Illinois EPA.
Have you guys been audited by them?
We don't need to be audited by them. If they're going to audit, they're going to audit.
On a startup, have they been here to watch?
They do.
Why do you have compliance?
The Illinois EPA does whatever they want to do.
How come samples were missed?
Samples were not missed.
My guess, the only reason people miss samples is because they can't pass the
samples were not missed. Samples were taken, one time was taken 10 days late, and another sample was taken 8 days late. No samples were missed.
Those are missed.
No, they were simply taken outside the category. It's the same water.
No, it isn't.
We can get into that.
It's not the same water. Why would they be missed? You don't take a sample because you don't think you can pass. That's why you don't take a sample.
There's no conspiracy here. I promise you guys. I am the new guy here.
I ain't looking for a conspiracy. All I know is what I know.
Oh my God.
I know what I know.
Let's move forward.
So,
okay, go ahead, JR. I'm sorry.
Continue where we're at. So we looked at the copper, potential leaks in the homes. We're not getting that. We did have some, next item that we'll discuss is movement in the ground. We've had some residents where the actual pipe sheared off near or at the foundation, and those homes the home was 15, 20 years old. So there's definitely some movement, some settlement in the ground. We've had the wettest spring on record. I believe I reported that at one of our utility meetings before. We are seeing quite a bit of street movement. Joel, if you can contest to the one on Chester at Evansville, the concrete curbing buckled substantially. We do have some other areas that the roads are moving. We're seeing that. Obviously, expansion. We've had a hot summer so far, and so we're seeing some movement in the ground. These fittings, flared fittings, copper together, any type of movement in the ground. Woman in the back said she had to have a plumber come back out. I suspect there was some other movement in another fitting adjacent to the one that was repaired. I don't know your situation, but I believe it's probably either transition to a PEX pipe or some other type of material, or at the meter set itself. Would be the ground was moved and the adjacent area was touched, so that fitting has been tweaked a little bit, causing it to leak. Not immediately, could have been a drip, turns into this swirling of the sand around that brass fitting.
Basically wears it down, basically, it's like grinds it down over time.
Correct, yes. So That's where we're at on the leaks. Still looking into some of the numbers overall. Obviously, we have quite a few other things going on in the city, but that's my report. I don't know on the leak situation. Nathan, I don't think if you had anything else to add
For leaks?
Yeah.
I have a question. What are your plans for, this is going to continue. There's going to be more residents that are having water leaks. Because it started with 1, then it was 2, then it was 10, then it was 12. It's going to keep going. It's not going to quit just because we're all here. So you got to have some kind of plan in place to help people when this happens, or prevent it from happening.
Pretty bad when the plumbers start doing it. And they're the one that's coming out ahead.
Part of Public Works will continue to monitor the situation and report to City Council. We've monitored what we call the leak report or the excessive usage, on a regular basis. That's why people are getting the letters. Something we've done for quite a few years before I was here, but that monitoring it is the plan.
I mean, like I said earlier, I don't know what my water bill is. It could be 50 extra bucks or 500, 5,000. I don't know. Are we going to get any relief on the leakage of water? Can we get any relief? You guys have what we were leaking, what we normally use. I mean, I'm consistent at the very minimum at just 2 of us. So
if the water went through your meter, and we know that water did not go through the sewer, we can actually go back and look at your bill to see what your average water sewer usage would do, and we basically take the excess sewer off.
What about the water?
The water went through your meter.
I know, but
we produced it.
And that would be
what it's in the ground.
So, but if we don't charge, if we don't charge you for it, should we charge your neighbor?
They have a huge weight, I guess. I mean, like I said, it's just water. It's what it costs us. What penny a gallon, penny and a half a gallon, whatever.
But again, if we decided not to charge you for your water, who should pay for that water that we
We're talking
don't
about the leakage water only.
Excuse me?
That we think that you're partially responsible for.
We don't even know what this bill is yet.
We still believe that you're partially responsible for the leak. So maybe you could at least give us something back as something, to keep us quiet or something. Pay for the leakage of water. That's all we're asking.
Because we're not using this water.
We do believe that you guys are partially responsible for this. Even though that you don't, and legally you don't. We understand that. We're on the meter side, it's ours, we get that. But we would like for at least give us something here. We just spent $5,000 for this.
Mayor, would it be fair enough if they brought their water bill into a water and sewer committee, we could address it at that time?
Every one of them would be looked at individually.
Individually.
That's why I'm asking, can we get some relief? How do we do that?
We look at them. We look at them all the time.
I'm talking about me personally coming up here to talk to somebody to get relief on. Like I say, since the bills haven't gone out for some reason, I don't have any idea what they're
Those go out at the same time every month.
What time they need to go out?
They're due on the 5th. I go out like on the.
I get mine on about the 18th.
Huh?
I get mine about the
I think
18th.
one on the 16th.
Yeah.
It's 11.
I think they went on the 16th.
But the
It's
18th.
11 today. So.
Week from now.
It's not online either. I looked online.
No,
It's
they're
out
not.
there.
They're not. They'll be out this week.
Okay.
Those will go out. That's it.
Well, I know there was a pitch problem with it, right?
No, everything. It's just the normal process of things.
No, they posted. Where was that at? Somebody said posted up that was a postal problem.
That was months
that was several months ago.
That was months ago.
Yeah, everything's been running fine with the post office. Yeah, so that actually wasn't the city. They got a bunch of our mail got stuck in St. Louis. So, and
I thought that was this week.
Oh, no.
Because I haven't gotten it. That's the only time I ever.
Yeah.
I never cared about my bill before.
they
But
haven't gone out yet.
I'm just curious how much water actually leaked.
Because our yard wasn't wet or anything. So the lady called because she said, you might have a toilet leak, and 9 out of 10 times it's a toilet leak.
It wasn't that.
And we had to turn our toilets off that night, and the next day she said, well, it wasn't that.
We really wish we had a toilet leak.
Yeah.
You're right.
To your point, sir, when you get that bill, We'll look and see what the
Thank you.
difference is.
That's all I want.
We're happy to talk to you once we see what
I'm
that
not
bill
looking
is.
for anything else
Right.
now because I know.
And that is a process that happens every billing cycle. When people get their bill, they think they have a leak or an issue, they bring it in, we talk about it, go through that process, and we do our best in order to help, especially on the sewer part. If we know that did not go through the sewer, we simply adjust that off. Because if we're not processing it, it doesn't cost us anything.
But we'll talk to you.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it. That was my really concern here.
And one thing I'd like to say too, just that, is we're not trying to be quiet on things. A lot of us, we don't know this detail until we're hearing it right now. So I'm fresh that I'm sorry, what?
I said the leaks are all over town.
People are talking.
Right. I see it on there, but I have not seen JR's information yet.
And he's been really good.
So, and I'm not a professional plumber. I don't know how these things work. So we're not trying to be quiet because we're just ignoring you. We don't know yet. Like, we are getting the information firsthand while you guys are here. And this is part of us wanting to be transparent and show everybody that we're here, but you may not get an answer from us right away because we don't know. We are just seeing it right now. So we're not trying to ignore anybody. I'm here to help you. We're all here to help you guys. And we're going to help you. We just have to figure out what we can do legally and ethically. So that's all. I just want everybody to know that we are here to help.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And again, this is a process that we go through every billing cycle. When people come in and they believe that they have an issue with their utility bill, with their water and sewer, we do it all the time.
The sewer is a no-brainer, but the leakage of the water. I mean, my neighbor here, her water ran for 3 weeks. I really don't want to see her when she gets her bill probably. She's really going to be upset.
Mine didn't run through my meter.
Yeah, and when the guy.
What am I supposed to do?
When the city come out, they said
You got it for free.
They didn't go through your meter. You won't get charged.
It's on with the city of Waterloo side of the meter that they're not going to take.
I get it, well, that's what I do.
All right.
So to answer my question, what am I supposed to do when it leaks again? Because there is a problem. I'm with this gentleman here. There is a problem somewhere. And the smirk on your face tells me that
I can't give you an answer from the city of Waterloo. I tell you what I would do. I would find a new plumber.
We all had different.
We have different.
we've all had
Really?
different.
That's your.
I'm just saying, if this was in my yard, and I had 2 leaks, he dug it up and it was a leak, and he came back and left it open for 3 weeks, I would find a new plumber. That's what I personally would do.
Okay.
What you do is
Well,
something.
my plumber, he
What am I
replaced
supposed
both
to do
ends
about
of the
the
pipe
expense?
because he had heard that once you do one, then there was a problem eventually with the other one, so he replaced both ends.
That's smart.
What am I supposed to do when there's another problem? Because it's going to continue to happen. If he's talking about, we're monitoring all of these things, and it could be the copper, and it could be the fitting, and it could be all this other nonsense.
But if it's the copper, everyone has the same copper.
Okay, so then we expect more leaks than if it is in fact the copper.
Well, if it's the copper, it's the same copper we've been using since 2000. So
Okay.
all
My
homes that
house
have been
was
built
built
at
in
that time.
2009.
That's
Makes sense. So
they would
eventually,
all have the same issue. Also, if you have that issue outside of the copper, you would also have the same issue inside because it's the same copper inside.
We have this vintage copper in the coupon rack, right? Something?
I'd have to confirm. There's so much stuff in there.
That might be something to look at. If we don't have that now, make sure, get a sample of the next time they're working on a whip of this vintage, make sure we have that in the coupon rack.
And you guys have already done, I know a lot of time on this, but if we ask other municipalities if they're seeing the same types of things, the neighboring communities.
So it's kind of all over the board, to be honest with you. Some of the communities that have seen this in the past, they have changed some of the material type because of that issue. We are looking into that as we speak. The water main, others have seen water main breaks. That's where they're sneaking in. So it's kind of that.
Actually, tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to talk to the underground department about the copper and the other possibilities for future development, so.
Might be a good idea.
Will there be another report at the next meeting
More
on your
likely.
progress?
Yes,
Of
there
trying
will.
to figure out what's happening?
Yes, there will.
I'll be here. I'm interested.
One other thing, you talked about maybe not having is there a way to get the numbers for the last 2 or 3 years on number of issues that we've had in the city? So we can look, maybe this is a lot more, and I know it's not apples to apples year to year. It's not the same temperature, not the same water, not the same heat, etc. But if we're experiencing a similar number year over year, this is just getting more publicity, more attention, or maybe it isn't getting, years past didn't get as much. So we look at that.
Correct. And that's what I am seriously looking at. It's just, I'm rifling through a lot of data. You can't pare it down just to water underground utilities. We get a lot of folks that hit their water meter with the lawnmower. That's probably one of the number one items I found on our work order list that folks hit that. So there's just a lot of meter installs, gas installs. So it's kind of hard to just kind of
It's not categorized as part of the big work.
we assign it to a person and I can pare it down from there, but then it might get assigned to the street department because it's a water drainage issue, and then or vice versa.
Makes sense.
Again, they have complete records of all the water leaks. It's more address it now, see what it is.
We would change it.
That makes sense.
All right, so we'll start from the beginning and then skip the water leak item. So Nathan's going to help me with this portion of it, but I'll get started. We're going to tag team this a little bit. Nathan's been involved in the water system. Sorry.
Let's switch again. Let's have Tricia come up and do her report. It's very short because
Sorry,
she
it'll
needs
be
to
super
leave.
short. You can leave that there.
And then you can continue on with yours, please.
Yeah.
We'll have a lot of movement in the schools and everything else tonight. So.
Thank you. Okay. All right, guys. So I do have a few things to report on. So we did hire our building inspector, and he is here tonight. So Mark Herman was hired and started on August 5th. He's jumped right in and is doing a great job. I think he likes us so far. Brad reports he's doing a great job, so we're super happy to have him here. And then with that being said, Brad will begin at the power plant as a fleet mechanic on August 25th. So we're going to wait till it's a brand new pay cycle, since he'll go from non-union to union. So he'll start there on the 25th. We do have a crossing guard position open, so if anyone knows of anybody looking for a part-time crossing guard position, let me know. Not you, but I do need someone. So I had 2 applicants, and neither one of them ended up being interested in me. So the sewer plant lead position was awarded to Mark Degner, so longtime employee, and he will begin that role on October 2nd. And then with that position, that'll open his position. So we're going to put that out for bid this week, knowing that process might take a bit of time, and then the person who's hired will go into that role on October 2nd as well. Any questions for me?
So we are down 2 people in our underground and have been for a while. That's been on purpose at this point in time, so that we can basically evaluate what was going on there, what we might need, and of course we got a new lead person. And at this point in time, I think it's a good idea for us to go ahead and add another person in underground, or basically replace one of the people in underground. And it would be probably a grand idea if we went out for that position and this position at the same time, because generally speaking, when people apply for those things, a lot of them apply for the same job or apply for both of them. So if we actually interview for both in the same category, we may be able to find 2 people, the 2 best people for those positions.
So you'd advertise for 2.
Right.
At the same time.
So we would be an underground and in the sewer department, but they are quite similar in what we would be needing. And if we do them both at the same time, I think we're better off for the city. With your approval.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Jim?
Yes.
Ted?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So I think you can go ahead and put that out at the same time this one goes out.
Okay, perfect. That's tomorrow. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
You can resume again for a resume.
Sorry. Thank you.
Oh, your son's going right now.
Every time I can see
I'm up again. So we'll start from the beginning, skip the middle, and wrap up at the end. Like I mentioned, Nathan's going to help me with this. Chime in where you kind of feel too, Nathan. Start with the water treatment facilities and distribution system. Just update on the operations. You'll see on here the final punch list items have been addressed at the water plant itself. We are working through a couple warranty items. Decided to close out the punch list items, and then some of the other warranty items are being worked through. There's a few of those. And we are keeping up on that to get those resolved. Currently, the water hardness for the month of July was at 190 milligrams per liter. So right where we would like to be. We want to be a little bit lower, but we're just kind of monitoring some of the chemistry and those things. So
the average is about 20 points lower than what we were getting with OA American.
That's correct.
Your water continues to be softer now.
Those logs are available on our website if anybody's still like to look at those. We did receive our second load of sand/seed, the softening seed. So that's 25 tons in the last 6 months. This will be our second shipment of that. So we're looking at about every 6 months currently right now to refill the hopper down there at the plant. So update on the wells. We are operating on wells 2 and 3. I can't remember if I reported that last time or not, but we're still working through some of the items on well 1 on that resolution. They have expecting some solution here shortly. So,
and that's drawing just a little bit more content out of the well with the water. That's the issue.
So that's drawing more content, a little bit more content, and then also we're seeing a higher iron out of that well. We saw that in some of the initial investigation of that well. So we're trying to see while it's down. So we're seeing flakes of the iron, which could be bonded to some other material in there. So we're looking at trying to solve 2 problems with one space.
But the aerator takes care of the iron at the plant, right? Even if there was iron?
The sand filter.
Sand filter, yeah. Right.
The problem...
It's the chemistry.
Right.
You're adding more chemistry to soften. And
I understand.
So that's why we don't care for it.
Right. The iron does not end up in the water system.
It does.
Correct.
That's a good point. The only thing that matters.
Perfect.
It's more chemistry.
Yep.
Same water.
All right, so then another update is our violations update. Most folks have been waiting for this. There's some explanation on here. Again, we're not taking this lightly, just like the water leaks as well. We are trying, doing our best, to solve the issues that we have in front of us. So we take it to heart. We want the samples to get in right, so in the right time frame. But just kind of outline the timeline here. The demand letter, which outlines what we are required to sample for that quarter, or that year, or 3-year period, is sent by the EPA to CERTOP. In this case, it was mailed out on or about April 1st. CERTOP received it mid to late June. We have no reason, the mayor and I met with Chris. We have no reason to believe that is not truthful. In fact, we've had letters go out from the city, we get some money, some checks. 3 months later, we've and I know others in the room have experienced that as well. Postmark, those types of things have been an issue. Chris immediately contacted Pace Lab on June 23rd to receive sample bottles. The samples that we needed, that was part of the demand letter. We did pinpoint that the EPA sent communication via email to Pace Lab May 8th, June 17th, and June 30th. They would have sent a fourth email to Pace Lab on July 10th, which is the 10th day after the quarter. They would have sent that if we didn't get any samples in. We did get the samples in around July 7th, July 8th, July 9th, kind of depending on when the shipment, because there's multiple shipments that went. So they did not receive that letter, but there were three emails that went to Pace Lab communicating that this was the sample period and what was needed to be sampled. The city became aware of this shortly thereafter, and then we released that press release on July 11th that everybody received, the city council received, the other outlet resources. I received the public notice, I'll call it number 1. It was dated July 11th. It was mailed July 14th. When I returned from San Diego, it was on my desk on the 18th. So we received it sometime that week. Public notice number 2, dated July 14th, which was mailed on July 15th. I have the postmark, so that's why I know these dates. That one I received, it was on my desk as well when we came back from San Diego on the 18th. Public notice number 3 was dated July 16th, mailed on the 17th. I received that July 21st. So just timeline, the press release, we put it out there. We knew something was, that we were going to be in violation. What violations, we did not know at the time, but just trying to be proactive and letting you guys know this was coming. So just wanted that to be clear to everybody. We were trying to be proactive, knowing that it was coming, and you can see the timelines of those. Just here's a sample demand letter. I'll call number 1. Or this is the actual sample demand letter. Here's April 1st, dated April 1st. This is what's required. I think Nathan will get into one of the inconsistencies on here later on. The public notices, this will be public notice number 1 I'm referencing. Again, July 11th is the date of the letter. It was mailed the following day. Again, the next one, and this was sent to me. Maybe I should go back. The sample demand letter was sent to Chris only, not to the mayor or myself. There's no CCs on here. A lot of times you'll see that, and I'll show that in a minute. Nathan's got some other information that he can probably hopefully share. You'll see the CC here on the other letters. Inconsistent with that, but you can see the EPA has been very helpful with our FOIA, providing information that we requested. So very helpful with information when Nathan is contacted. So with that, I'll turn it over to Nathan, and he'll talk about some of the results and some of the other items.
So real quick, can you go back a couple slides, if you don't mind, JR? So just to make this as clear as possible for me, the demand sample letter came from the EPA, Illinois EPA. They show it mailed on April 1st.
It's dated April 1st.
It's dated April 1st, but it wasn't received by, it would not have been received by yourself or anybody at City Hall because there was no CC on it. It strictly went to CERTOP.
That's correct.
But they did not receive it for April, May, for almost 80 days. That's 75 days. Okay. And we know that they received it on that date because do they stamp things when they come in, or that's just when it showed up on their desk, or?
That's just what Chris told the mayor and I. I don't believe they have a stamp.
Okay.
And that's one of the inconsistencies. I've obviously been talking to IEPA often. I talk to Pace Laboratories often. So the first time that when we first got knowledge of this, I called EPA. I said, hey, I don't understand this. How can one letter, a demand letter, just go to one person through mail? And she said, that's the way we do things. I said, but it'd be nice if it channeled through City Hall to the mayor, the director, like other letters. That's how we do it. Today, I talked to the same lady at Illinois EPA, and she said, yeah, it does seem kind of weird that City Hall doesn't get anything. I'm going to work on that. Because both demand letters for second and third quarter do not have City Hall involved at all. It's just the roing.
Well, so here it is. It's 2025. Why in the hell are we just getting in the mail? Dude, they can't electronically send it to us?
This is how they do it. That's the reply.
It's 2025.
I mean, it's the state bureaucracy.
Yeah. I would love to have
Our
an email.
EPA, it is the state bureaucracy. We do not control them.
But I don't want to say anything bad about Illinois EPA.
I don't.
Because like I've been talking to Mandy, and she's been really, she's great. I'll be honest with you.
And they've got to work within the processes that they have set
Yeah, it's not that Gary Talker's fault. It's
Right.
somewhere up the chain. It's just so, like, it's crazy.
So once, and can we go back again one more time? I apologize. Once CERTOP did receive that letter in mid to late June, so let's say it's the 15th, let's say it's 22nd, they contacted Pace Labs immediately thereafter or close to it to say, hey, we've got this notification, we're supposed to get in these samples, and we were already pretty much coming to the end of that window to get the sampling done, correct?
That's correct.
How long did it take from the time Pace Labs was contacted by CERTOP for the sampling kit? Because then you said that comes in like a big box to arrive.
That's correct.
What was that?
I believe it was, we had the holiday in there, so I believe it was around a week.
So it took them about a week to get that prepped and sent
To get not all of them. So,
Yeah.
and Nathan will go into this, like, June 23rd was too late.
Yeah, that makes sense. They're already working on the next quarter.
But it's still, like, and so Nathan will get into it a little bit more, but on the 10th day, Illinois EPA has to have the sample results in their hands for it to count, to not be a violation.
So you say by the 10th day?
Of July. 10th day of July in this case.
Next quarter.
Just want to make sure. Okay.
So that's, and Nathan will kind of get into it, but that's where it was too late already. I guess there was not.
Understood.
So.
And Nate, you might get into this too, and not to be snarky or anything, but this is a quarterly test.
Yes.
CERTOP, nobody was like, hey, it's quarter end, we probably should be doing our quarterly thing.
This was our first quarterly sample at the new treatment plant. So we haven't done this in 30
There
years.
wasn't one for March or Q1.
There wasn't anything for January through March.
Okay. So it's just because it's quarterly doesn't mean every quarter?
No, it'll be every quarter. It took that long for EPA to come out with their demand. What they want.
And their demand varies. We don't know what that's going to be.
It does vary. Yeah.
Okay, that was my question. There was the variance.
samples
So it's
each quarter
basically
are not
we
the
get
same.
what they need to request from us a sample, so we know what we got to take going forward. We don't know because they can vary.
Every
based on,
quarter can change.
So even if we have a list, also they can request.
I think it'll be pretty even, but
Be consistent with some of what Jay's even, what the mayor and I again met with Chris from CERTOP, talked about some of the other violations that they've had. You know, he come in on, we really don't know what we want to sample because it will vary. He made that clear that that's a possibility.
Can I ask a question real quick? Because I think what Matt is kind of saying, correctly, Matt, is why would not CERTOP call and say, hey, we're in our quarterly period, why do I not have any requests yet to do
Demand.
testing?
Yep.
The demand, yes.
That's what we don't know that.
Sorry, I don't.
No, I correct, same thing. And if CERTOP didn't get the contact Pace until the June 23rd, they know the sample's going to be late. They should have let us know that.
right. I mean, I could chalk it up to human error.
I mean, that could be human error. And
Or not having the sample the first quarter and just being like, okay, it's human error.
But once you have that demand letter that says, oh, July 1st, we got to have this stuff in for this quarter. We didn't get it to June 23rd. We should probably let them know, hey, we're going to be late. Not find out on July 10th. that's something that CertTop should own.
It
I
was
think.
early July. And we were trying to figure it out.
I believe I got the samples on the 3rd because we couldn't take the samples right away because of the holidays.
Right, and you have to have the sample kits made. Right. I get all that, but once they knew, hey, and they contacted Pace, and Pace didn't have them there, or Pace couldn't tell them we're going to have them there on July 1st. Then they knew that they were going to be late, and we were probably going to be in violation. So I do take,
and that's what
some of the I place some of the blame on CertTop for that, at least not getting ahead of it. To this point.
So I think to fast track to the end of this, and then we'll go forward and backwards a few times. But the way we see this going the correct way, now that we have, because before it was distribution, that's all we cared about for 30 years. And then Illinois American took care of everything in-house. They did all their sampling in-house. It was all just, it worked really well. I think the best way to move forward is we'll channel everything through City Hall, and then, okay, distribution, you get this, water plant, you get this, and then we can stay on top of it better than what was done the last few months. And that's how we'd like to channel things to move forward. Someone's got to be completely knowing everything about it, and that has to be management at City Hall. So,
you want to go through these, and then there's a point for that at a location. So
yeah. So I want to hand out a spreadsheet, and this is a draft. So I already found some errors while I was sitting here. So don't take this.
Nathan's handing those out, and spare the time, I'll kind of walk through. Send samples in, receive the samples. Within compliance, as we've been noting, that information is on Drinking Water Watch. If anybody wants to go look at those or ask us, that the information is available on the EPA's website. We do not send the samples, the results to the EPA. Pace Lab does, so it doesn't even come here until after the fact. So the latest results are here on the EPA's website, the Illinois EPA's website, on Drinking Water Watch. Google that, and then it comes up right away. Just plug in City of Waterloo as the system. Nathan, I'll let you talk about some of the inconsistencies that we were seeing during our investigation and
so
forward.
When we received our cooler, when samples come in a cooler form, that means they need to be iced to ship back. So I received a blue cooler and a red cooler a few weeks ago, and for the 3rd quarter, and that was another municipality's cooler. Yeah, up in northern Illinois. So Washburn. So I called Pace Lab. Right. I called. Well, it has my name on the cooler in Waterloo, Illinois, on the outside. But the shipping was. So I called Pace and I said, "Hey, there's another town missing their 3rd quarter," and they're like, "Oh, I guess we'll send the label so we can get that sent to them." So I think with Pace Laboratories, we don't have a ton of laboratories to go to. We got Illinois EPA and we got Pace, and I hear the same stories out of both of them. I think the only way to truly make sure everything's on track is to be on top of it all the time.
And I would say one other point. In talking with people, they imply that the city should actually be sending these to tech labs, where our little samples, and tech labs don't do these. So that's not a possibility.
That's good to know. I've heard people bring up tech lab more than once. I'm like, I don't know.
They don't do these.
It'd be a whole lot easier if they did.
Yeah.
It was right.
Yeah. So obviously, I got my 3rd quarter shipment, and I checked out the bottles, and I was supposed to have 16 SOCs, and there were 16, but the VOCs I only had 3, and the chain of custody said 4. I called up to Pace Laboratories, and they said, "Oh, that's an error on our part. We actually only need to give you 3 bottles, but the chain of custody says 4. It was the opposite of what I was thinking. But then the IOCs, Pace missed sending them with the second quarter shipping. Fortunately, that only needs to be taken once every 3 years, and the sample is sent out in the second quarter demand letter. They don't tell you that it's for the rest of the year. They just put it in there for that second period. So, or the quarter, I should say. So we didn't get nicked for that. And the only reason we found it is because we started doing our diligence at City Hall, channeling it before it goes out. So those are big things that we're changing. Shipping has been another hard aspect. With the samples that need to be on ice, they have to be on ice and at a certain temperature range in order for them to be processed, and it has to be done in the right holding time. So we were accustomed to sending our samples through the UPS store, and they said that they don't have guaranteed overnight shipping anymore. You could pay the extra $100, but they guarantee it the same as next day. So I had a second quarter shipment, the nitrite. I had half the sample go through because it took too long to get that. So, yeah. So anyways, we were sending, between the second quarter and the third quarter, I needed to send out a new shipment, and I ended up going to a shipping facility that does FedEx and basically off of Greenmount Road, and they worked out great. It was a small box, $120. So the only other option would be to literally drive to Peoria, or we found out that Pace Laboratory, who does the wastewater analyzing in Hazelwood, they have a carrier that goes back and forth. So today we fulfilled our third quarter samples. I drove it to Hazelwood to figure out how it all worked out. You hand it to them, they put it on a truck, and their own guys, and they go to Peoria. So I think moving forward, we can take care of those issues. It's not about the money, it's about time, and that's what the most important part. So basically, EPA needs to know by the 10th of the following month of that quarter. So our biggest, if you want to look at your spreadsheet, as you can see, the second quarter, I highlighted the one side. Your RAD samples took 28 days to get analyzed. That gets sent off to a company in Pennsylvania. Illinois EPA also sends theirs off too. So it's not super easy. There's a lot of moving parts to it.
Quick question for you, Nathan, just to clarify. So the second quarter, the last one is said to take 28 days to process. Regardless of the amount of time it takes to process, the EPA needs that information by the 10th of the following month, following that quarter.
Yep.
Okay. Correct. So to Joel's point, somebody's got to know, or should know, these.
We're going to get a violation for that.
Right. Yeah. And so we also need to know. We need to have all this turned in by the end of the second month of that quarter.
Mm-hmm. Right. So we would have never got these samples completely done for that second quarter.
Well, what this does do, as you said, is now the bar has been set for we know what needs to be accomplished.
Yeah. I mean,
actual control now has been transferred to the city of Waterloo.
Right.
So that we know exactly what we need to do and what the timelines are and how we can actually accomplish it.
And it's for everything, distribution, the water treatment plant. Now we can funnel it all together. I feel like we've done a pretty good job with distribution because we meet with our guys every Monday morning. So every other meeting we talk about MACTs, every quarter we talk about the HAA5 TTHM. lead copper. We took care of those 60 samples. So it's a good handle. I feel moving forward, I'm getting more comfortable as we go on. So we know the process. We know how to get the information. We're not scared of talking to EPA or PACE. I've been calling them all the time. So just 60 samples in 1 quarter, it's a bunch of water samples, you know. So I mean, it's a big process. So, any questions?
Have all the samples passed?
Yeah.
Okay. That's big.
Yeah.
Put a star on that, right?
So,
even though they're late, they passed.
Right. And I talked to Illinois EPA today, and regarding the second quarter, Mandy said that we get all of our, we just did our third quarter today. We get the results before the 10th of October, then they'll credit us for the second quarter samples. It doesn't mean anything for violation, but then they officially says, okay, these samples are true. So,
so it was important for us to get those samples in and gone.
Right.
And, you know, this all, again, revolves around PACE getting us those bottles. You know, they're all different bottles. You can't just go to a grocery store and pick up a bottle. They all have acids, preservatives, so on and so forth. So
what you're saying is not a conspiracy.
There is zero conspiracy.
I don't think anybody thinks it's a conspiracy or anything.
Yeah.
You mentioned lead copper. Have all those been satisfactory?
I had one that was 1 part per billion over their threshold.
For lead or copper?
It was lead, I believe.
Okay. Because if it was copper and we were seeing it,
right,
then that might be part of what we were seeing elsewhere with the newer stuff, but it's not.
Hold on here. That was not a normal sample.
I get that.
That house was been vacant for years.
Right.
And I asked him to run some water. I don't believe he ran enough water to get a true sample. So, and I did.
If it's out there long enough, it'll absorb anything.
It'll absorb anything.
If it was showing copper, then maybe we'd have issues.
Right. But no, our samples have been great. I've only received one phone call from one of the samplers, the homeowners.
Mm-hmm.
She asked what her values were, and I told her the range. She was fine with it. Per Illinois EPA, I have to let all the homeowners know. My process is to let them know when they get their next letter for their next sample to take. So it'll all be in the mail. I have all those samples. They're in my office. We're just getting to that process. That's not due till December 31. I'm not waiting that long. Okay.
And those are every 6 months.
Yes.
The next 3 years, I believe.
Yeah.
Or until we
get rid of all.
Quickly also, Nathan, there was an attendee at one, I think the last meeting, where we offered, the city offered to go out and test for water.
Sure. Yeah.
You got her information. Were you able to connect with her yet?
Yep. I met with her and her husband. I've known her husband, so it wasn't a completely foreign transaction. But I went to their house, grabbed a sample from their faucet, whatever faucet they preferred, cold water. The husband rode with me. We went to the elevated tower. We went to Dollar General in Valmeyer to get a fountain water sample. Went to the lab, analyzed it, showed him the data, and he said, okay, there's no conspiracy. So
that's why I offered to test his water. If someone actually believes that there's something wrong with their water, we don't want to dismiss them. But we will most certainly test their water and give them a correlating sample somewhere else in order to see that their sample is good.
And I wanted to make sure that it was public knowledge that was followed up on, completed, and informed the resident.
And I have also offered that to one other person that they have not taken me up on it. I hope this gentleman actually takes us up on it.
Yeah. And I had a lady call me, and she was upset, and I said, I will sample your water. And she didn't completely understand or believe me. And I said, no, you're going to ride with me so you can physically see it. So you know, there's nothing, no conspiracy. We're not
nothing to hide.
You can't be any more transparent than that. Take
No.
them down there and do it.
I will physically take them down there and show them how it works. So, yeah, I'm really happy with where we're going with this. We got a good team. So
this is what you were talking about earlier, just kind of moving forward, standard operating procedure. The samples will come through City Hall, through Nathan, verification, make sure we have the right sample material, match the demand letter according to such, including the routines, the lead and copper as well, and then they'll just distribute those to the water plant or the distribution system, our underground companies, and then confirmation that it was delivered to the appropriate folks. We'll review the sample results as we do. Again, they're available on Illinois EPA's website sooner than we can receive them here as our paper copies or people.
that demand letter, I mean, that's everything. You don't get it. Like the third quarter, I had called Chris. I said, hey, you send that to me, you know. So he's not used to a municipality saying, send me your demand letter, but we've got moving parts that we need to channel it in one and then move it forward.
You'll see on this one, there's not a CC, a little left-hand corner.
Yeah. Hopefully, the fourth quarter we'll have that. We'll see what Mandy's supposed to get back with me on that.
Anybody have any other questions about the violation? I think we've addressed it to the best of our ability right now.
I mean, the key is the demand letter was late.
It was the first part.
Basically, it was lost in the mail, like everything happens all the time.
I mean, I had the financial interest form that we all have to fill out. Now it's online, but from the city clerk at the courthouse, it was mailed on like March 1st, and I didn't get that one until the day that I got the one that told me I was late. So I just went up and filled it out at McLean's office that day. I don't remember. Right? Yeah, exactly. So this was 2 years ago, but still, things get to St. Louis in the mail and get lost occasionally, unfortunately.
It took us 6 months to get a Christmas card.
Right.
It's the way it happened.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
But again, our water's great. I mean, we're passing all of the regulations. You know, everything's going well. So
Good on that?
Good.
Water. Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have to chime in on a couple of these as well. So we went through the water leaks. I'm not going to go through that again. Just briefly go through the roadway projects, Philip Court and Griner Drive. We're in the midst of meeting with the property owners. We have a meeting tomorrow afternoon as well. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago, and now tomorrow afternoon. We'll follow up on that. The concrete replacement program is underway. Placing a lot of slabs out there and sidewalks. Pavement markings will be in our near future here. Get that going as well. We've got our list moving, but working on the concrete replacement program. And then again, reviewing and planning roadways, sidewalks, and shared use path projects within the city. Just trying to do some of those upgrades. I know there's been some concerns about fixing some of that or adding sidewalks in certain locations. So working on that, just have to identify funding mechanisms to do so. Next update is the new turbine generator number 14. We're moving forward with that item. I know you've all been aware of the foundation issue, the soils issue that was found when they were excavating, and the solution was to do drilled piers. I believe that was the best solution because of, you'll see here in a minute, but if you look on your screen there, this is courtesy of the mayor. This is a 1901 map of the city. This general area is about where the turbine sits today. So you see on the map it shows a pond in that location. We believe this area was all fill, as we've seen in the soil boring reports in that area. The soil is not, let's say, horrible
just to the north that you're not seeing basically was a brick factory, and a lot of the stuff that came out of there actually is what was the fill in all of this area.
Yeah, didn't you find a lot of bricks several feet down too? That's what I see on the report.
You'll see up here the other mill up here, spur coming in, creek that sits there. It's actually a creek now. Million-gallon tank. It'll sit somewhere here. I think they had to do foundation improvements, so that was installed. So again, working through the solutions here. Here's just a picture of what that soil looks like. They're drilling for the piers, 2.5 foot diameter concrete pier that's going into this location.
And that would be consistent with the bottom of the pond.
So here's a video. So that's the material that's being excavated, which working with engineer Record and the Souls folks on why this was an issue and why it's now. It would have been nice to know up front. And I know the mayor's email kind of alluded to some of that prior projects. So that is that. More to come. Shipment of the turbo generator should be here early September is the plan. So contract is moving forward. Excuse what she's saying on that. So, other item I have is some of the recent intermittent power outages on the South Circuit. Unless anybody else any questions on the turbine. Intermittent power outages on our South Circuit.
South Circuit.
Often it's caused by squirrels or other rodents, tree rats, squirrels, raccoons, that type of stuff. But we've been experiencing a lot of tree growth, a lot of moisture in the air, moisture in the ground. Trees are growing quite rapidly and causing problems. The limbs are falling down. You'll see here's a couple examples of that. The limbs are coming across multiple phases, and that was I can't remember the date on that one here. The right picture. But my crew is out cutting trees, and I call it like triage. We're out just trying to find the location. Mayor messages me and says what's going on with ours for now.
And my power was in a period of about a week. My power was out like 22 times.
So yeah,
not just mine, a lot of people.
It was suggested to contract a tree trimming service. See what the cost is to do this. We have in our budget to
get it adjusted.
Typically about $10,000 in our budget to do tree trimming in house, that type of thing. But there's a lot more here. There's some stuff that's should have been done year over year, and we're starting to see a majority of that. So I had Kelly contact IBEW recommended a service provider for that. We met with them, the mayor, myself, Jared, just try to get some background information, costs, timeline, those types of things. It's very informative. We met with Kendall Vegetation Services, again recommended by the IBEW. They have local experience. Muscuda uses them. They're one of our partners in the IMEA. So they do work for them year over year. Monroe County Electric uses them from time to time, or has, and then Ameren as well. We had them, the gentleman that we met with, kind of look at our South Circuit. During conversation, some of the pricing was we could probably do about $30,000 worth of work, get us by. We don't have a problem. He went and drove the South Circuit, everything you see here mapped in red, the South Circuit. So he drove this and gave me a price of $95,000 plus or minus 10%. Again, this is just the South Circuit. We need to get into a program, add this into our budget annually. like I said, some of the other municipalities have it in their program annually every 3 years. They'll be back. And it's not as much because we really have to start cutting a lot of streets now. So I am looking for some direction. We do not have $95,000 budgeted in this fiscal year for this work. We're looking at other items that we could cut, or we are not spending as much in the line department. So to mitigate this.
Well, sorry, JR, I'm going to interrupt you. My understanding is we used to budget $50,000 a year. I haven't seen that, but I've been told that by several people. And then that $50,000 wasn't being used, so they took it out, and then it got down to $10,000. Why we haven't been doing this annually to keep up with this, I don't know, and it doesn't particularly matter at this point. But we are here right now. The electric fund has money in it. We have the ability to amend the budget. I think all of our residents in every area of town, and this one specifically right now because of it, but if this would come up in other areas, I would recommend the same thing. I would like to take care of this. And it's not like this is going to be a reoccurring cost annually at this number, but we're playing catch up. We got to catch it up. We'll probably have to do it in other areas of town next also, but this isn't going to be a line item for almost $100,000 every single year. But we are going to have to do it for a couple of years.
But it will be reoccurring for several years, to
get caught up.
Maybe for in order to get caught up.
Absolutely.
Then it will be a maintenance type thing.
Exactly. So I think we should amend the budget to get this done as fast as possible.
I agree, because this is something.
Yes?
Yes.
Joel?
So we got 10 grand, so we'd be adding another 85.
There's some items that didn't come in.
We have money that we have not spent.
I had Jared look at some of the items that we for capital purchases.
I'm just looking at the black and white budget here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what would happen? Yeah, we should do
Of course,
that.
it would all come out of the electric fund.
Correct. And there's enough there for that.
Right.
Yeah. Sure.
Matt? Jim?
Yes.
Tina?
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's see if we can amend the budget and get released this group and see when that's available to us.
Okay. Will do. And this is time and material, so we have.
And we'd also want to look at whatever is next year. And when they finish this, give us some indication of what's going to cost us next year, whatever we decide. And whichever circuit is the worst.
This one is right now.
No, next year.
So, yeah.
The next worst.
Whichever one is the next worst.
And again, we monitor the outages. I get a report from John Lukey, the operator on those. Like we had one on this weekend, Saturday, on that South Circuit. It was an actual fault on some of our underground lines that need to be replaced, but that was not causing the tree limbs.
Everyone on the South Circuit will thank you.
So one
done
thing to add
personally.
to this is when the city has done this before, we've done it, we've had to, and we've had residents call us and go, can you come out and clean it up a little bit? I'm assuming, because there's a lot of wooded areas here, et cetera, just please emphasize to this organization that this needs to look really good when it's done. And hopefully it's just not cut and leave it looking shoddy.
That was one of our questions.
I think probably they actually have someone that goes out first, and she's a communications person that actually goes into those neighborhoods and works with individual homeowners and basically asks them what you would like to see, what's going to look like afterwards, and if they want the entire tree taken out, then we can also do that. But
we find when we're doing it, sometimes someone's like, hey, we'd like that tree down. So. Okay.
But they have someone actually communicating with the neighborhood.
All right. I know this is getting long, so I cut a couple things out. But next month, I've got some other items that I'll talk about. But anybody have any questions or comments for me? It's been a little long-winded.
Who's next?
I apologize to everybody else.
That's my question.
Thank you, JR.
Yep.
No.
Anything? All right.
Run light in.
I'm going to get a drink of water.
Thank you.
Yep.
Let's go back to the original number 3, the city clerk, July 14, 25 utility meeting minutes.
Motion.
Motion, and a second.
I'll second.
Any changes, updates, corrections for Michelle? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Finally, we're on number 4. We're halfway through.
No report.
No report.
I'm kidding.
Are you done?
Go on, Mom.
Comfortable over there with it.
You have notes on there? Does he have enough notes on there?
Oh, no. That's what my comment.
And another thing.
I'm skipping that part.
Alrighty. In July, I had 13 permits issued, 5 residential, 3 accessory, 3 signs, and 2 excavation permits. One of them was we just did a map amendment for those 3 lots on Evansville a couple months ago. They're breaking ground on one house there. It'll be 2,800 square foot. And then there will be a house on Kirk Lane. It'll be about 2,600 square foot. I had 3 actually for Remlock area this month, or I'm still working on one. But 615 Benjamin Lane will be 5,000 square foot. 811 Oliver will be 46. And another house on Waymaker. They seem to be selling a lot of lots in that new Silver Creek edition now. This will be 3,300 square foot. This deck is being replaced on Cheshire. And then on Ridgeview Court, they're putting in an in-ground pool. On Hartman Lane, they're finishing a basement and adding an egress window. Plaza Tire, they were all 3 of my sign permits. So the front, the side, and their monument. Those are all issued individually. Excavation permits, this one for Columbia Avenue was actually the one I've been fighting to get the proper insurance coverage, so this one's been done for a while. And then the lift station at Legacy is the one where the force main was busted, and we had to get a new company in there too for the new house going back on the 15 acres behind Legacy. Currently, we have no planning commission meeting tonight, or we've been gone 45 minutes ago. We do have a zoning board of appeals next week. This is for Coffee Girl's sign. It actually sticks out farther than it's supposed to. It's 48 inches instead of the allowable 24. There is a balcony there.
There's many other signs in downtown Main Street that have already had
Yes,
variances.
but they have to go through the process. And
Nothing
get
out of the
variance,
ordinary.
and we'll see what the zoning board has to say. Permits, I'm working on 2 residentials, 2 excavations, 1 commercial, 3 accessory, 4 signs. Pizza Hut, theirs has already been approved for this month. They're putting up a monument sign when the storm took down their old one. Quail Ridge passed their pressure tests and their back T tests, and Remington Ridge, all the sewer laterals are done, and they are working on storm sewer now.
I have a question about signs. Burger King, it's been busted forever. Like,
Yes.
I see it every day.
So we've talked about it. Technically, they haven't reached out more than to ask if a permit would be required. And if they're just replacing the face of that sign and not any of the structure, we would not require a permit for that. Or change it because it is taller than what we allow now. So they haven't reached back out.
So it's kind of up in the air.
So we don't, at this point in
We don't
time, we
have
don't actually know what their intentions are.
No.
Do we need to give them a push? It's been a few months now.
No, it's a private property. So, and I would suspect, depending on what the overall property looks like, it might be a money issue. I don't know.
I do know I've heard they are very short-staffed, so I'm not sure how well Burger King is doing. How well
There could also be sign, logistics, generation, et cetera.
So ultimately, if they just replace what they've got now, the sign will stay the same. But if they want to change the structure, it's got to be shorter, and it'll require a permit.
Yeah, a lot more.
So, yes.
It could still be a standalone sign, it's just too tall.
Now they're only allowed to be like
Approved the
20
last
foot.
time, it was like 10 feet too tall.
Yes.
Quick question on excavation permits. I don't know if anybody else is seeing this, but people putting fiber, and it's not a local company where they're digging it up, and we've got, at least in streets in our neighborhood, where the dirt is just piled up, and it's been like that for 2-3 weeks.
So
they're not doing anything. I don't know if there's a timeline on what they have to do to start and then finish a project, or if they can just.
So technically, for excavation permits, it is 30 days. The one in your subdivision, Charter is doing the drafts. They outsourced it to Urban Cable, who then outsourced it again. And we issued a permit to Urban Cable, and Nathan and I have been in contact with Durat, and we're getting their paperwork to get that permit. So it is a process for this one.
So they've got
because
30
we told
days.
them, we made it, yes, 30 days from the day the permit's issued. However, they don't technically have a permit right now. They're working under someone else's permit because they were told that was okay, and we talked to them and told them it was not. And they were also informed that they have to replace the grass back to the way it was, even if that means replacing a square facade. So they know they have to do it, but it has been a discussion.
One other one, just signs on Mill Street. I kind of talked about this, mentioned it to Nathan, for the new gaming room, where they've got the slot signs in the front of the building, they've got it in the alley, they've got the easel sign, they've got the sign on the building, and I understand they get a variance for X amount of weeks for promotional signage per year, just make sure we're keeping an eye on that.
Yes, so Brad and I went around and delivered letters giving people updated code on feather flags and temporary signage, and that they're only allowed to have feather flags or temporary signs for 14 consecutive days once a year. So everyone that had a feather flag, we let them know, and they all seemed to be receptive as long as we were giving that rule to everyone.
Nice Twice has a new one today.
Nice. The preschool?
Nice Twice.
Oh.
Resale shop.
Okay.
Oh, Depot.
So I know they have a preschool feather flag out there, and they were only going to leave it there for 2 weeks because preschool is going to start. But if there's an additional,
It says the Lutheran Church.
It's a Lutheran church.
It says the Lutheran Church. I'm sure it's the one you're talking about.
I don't know.
Also with the gambling place in the alley, I know you had reached out as well. We've been in contact with Joanne. We've discussed. Those were just supposed to be temporary banners because she wants to have murals painted on there. And so then we had to discuss what was allowed in a mural and what isn't allowed, because you can't be advertising name brands on the outside of what's on the inside. And she was also potentially going to request a variance, since you're allowed 1 square foot of signage per linear street frontage that you have, but her front door was required to be on the other side of the building. So she would like to potentially apply for a new variance to get more signage. And I told her that she is able to do that, and we could move forward from there. So that is where that sits. And I noticed State Farm also hard surfaced their parking lot last week, so that one, it's no longer gravel either.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then just one other quick question,
Yep.
that is, the daycare on Covington across from the Baptist Church moved their dumpster to like the front, and it's about that far from the street. And again, it's their private property, but just from a security standpoint, I mean, somebody's coming down the street, I don't know if they did it, I don't know if it falls within code, out of code,
Okay.
or whatever, but.
Is it a dumpster or trash can?
The dumpster.
I'll look at it. I'm not 100% sure. I thought that
It's actually on the
dumpsters were
grass.
supposed to be in
Yeah.
enclosures.
It's not even in the parking lot, it's on the grass.
Yeah.
I think it's facing Covington too.
Any
It's
other
like facing the
thing
park.
on these?
I have not been given an update on Amis.
Okay, just thought I'd ask. Thank you.
Yep. Anything else?
Thank you. Nick, are you done?
Thanks, Roberta.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just add, I've been working with our utility guys, with, miscellaneous things that keeps our time busy, but everything's going great.
Okay. And JR, you are also complete?
If you got
Your
any more
report?
time,
I'll give you another 30 minutes if the room allows it. Building inspector?
Oh, this is probably Brad's last one.
Yep, 90 seconds.
90 seconds? Holy cow. I did, that's expected. I hope they're as good as mine.
If not, you'll be hearing about it.
Waterlogged here this week. Waterlogged.
The water wall? Thank you, Britt.
No problem. Okay, JR touch base on some of these.
just slide it over.
You didn't talk about that.
What'd you say, JR?
So can you just slide it over to the other monitor?
Which way? Right or left?
Hello.
So Mark and I have been down at the power plant doing inspections. You can see, I mean, it's just like jello black until they get down about 13 feet, and then they finally get good clay. So we've been keeping an eye on that.
So that's the finished footing right next to it?
Yes.
Okay. Idea what they're putting up, I guess the finished pier.
Here.
Right.
Is that their goal to get into the clay, or are they going deeper?
Yes. So they're going about 20 feet.
Into the clay.
So about 13, they start getting good.
You just hit the over arrow.
No, it didn't. What am I doing wrong here?
Say how many years? Did you say how many years you have for this?
This one?
Yeah, there's something right there.
What's that tree issues going on?
See, we have not said we tried something.
There it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it now. I get to see it.
Yep, there you are, you can see them.
Oh, wow.
Now you should be able to use the arrows, Brad, on the keyboard.
So you can see they have a lot of them poured there with the rebar sticking out. I think I have a picture of the cages.
Cool.
Yeah. Cage. I'm not used to this touch screen. Where am I at here? CCA shit.
He lost the mouse. Try to use the arrows on the keyboard.
There we go.
Try to do that.
Hello.
That ain't working.
We're always playing it.
JR can just be your assistant.
Yeah, JR.
It's not plywood?
Well, I lost the mouse on there.
There's the cursor.
See, that's why I should work at the power plant.
Mouse is moving too fast.
So it's going back.
The other way up.
Click on the screen once, JR, and then use the arrows. See if that works. Just hit. There you go.
There we go.
There it is.
That's what I wanted to show.
Yep.
So these are the cages. This cage here is for the exhaust. It's like 3 foot around. That pier actually, I think it called for 30 feet deep. I think they hit bedrock at like 26. So they also have a third-party inspector there from SCI looking at everything, but they still want us down there to look at everything, make sure we're good with it. So it's been pretty neat to see. This is a shed in Country Club Hills that Mark and I were driving around, kind of showing the subdivision. This guy here started this shed, didn't get a permit.
Did not?
Did not get a permit. Had the piers in, the wood foundation down, and I think he's going to have an issue because that's an easement there. So we did stop and talk to him, told him he needs to apply for a permit, and he's probably going to have to move it because obviously it's way in the
So it
gate.
looks like it's partially in his backyard and partially in Al's backyard?
It is. I can't believe where he put it, but we did talk to
Is that,
him.
is it an optical illusion, or is it pretty close to the ground?
It's right on the ground. So,
Right on the ground? Wow.
So that was good for Mark to see and get to talk to the homeowner. He was good to work with.
Okay.
He said he would apply for a permit, and I said, well, I think we're going to have an issue with that. So
Work has been stopped?
yeah, he hasn't done any more now. And this is another one in Country Club Hills. I think it's also going to have to be moved, but these people just moved into this house, started it without a permit. They had OSB on the roof. He has ripped the OSB off and put fur on, but it's another problem. Like I said, these are good for Mark to see. We were driving around the subdivision, just kind of showing him a few things, and he spotted these, talked to the homeowner. They're on it. They're also applying for a permit. So
But it's on the easement also, or what, it's too close to the
it's
road?
it's close, but it's off the easement enough. I think that they could probably move it just a little. They'll be in compliance. So. So I introduced Mark to Dollar General today. They're always a repeat offender of grass. Like Mark said, I just can't understand. They have a landscape company come in and mow the grass, and they won't pay them to weed eat the ditches. It's unbelievable. So we're working on setting them a violation to get this taken care of. So like both waterways, this weeds 4 foot high. And you can see the back fence. It's not near as bad as the waterways, but it is an issue. So I've been around with Mark, introduced him to a lot of the contractors that we use a lot. We've done some rental inspections today. Went through new construction and working on paperwork and stuff, and Mark's picking up on it quick, so he's a good fit. And Jordan, I did tell him, you're going to expect videos every month, so
That's right.
we'll see how good he does. So far, he's working out great. He's a perfect fit. So that's all I have.
Questions? You think he's done a pretty good job, or no?
You did a good job.
Okay. Thank you. Dave?
What's up, Chief? No problem. Chief. So it's easy as that one. You should. I lost him. I was like that.
Do you have a favorite part?
But then I have all kinds of questions I want to ask.
Are these like potential clients, or?
No, we're letting it out. We're giving them a compliment.
I use somebody's laptop, you got a mouse there. And you can see what's on the screen.
So Friday, we hosted Chief for the Day. The young man there is Henry Kriebel, son of Nate Kriebel. And this was the start of our day. We had breakfast with the mayor at Family Kitchen. We had a good breakfast. I think Henry enjoyed his French toast and his syrup. This is syrup. We went back to the police station. Harry is sworn in. Official, we had to use Roberta because Tammy was not available, but Roberta did an excellent job. I just want to say that. She did great for never doing it before.
Neither of them had ever done it before.
Right, neither of them, yes. Henry did too. He did a good job repeating it. Here he is at my desk, getting comfortable. And then we went over to the courthouse where he met with the EMA director, Kevin Scheibe. You may remember him. Kind of showed him around dispatch. Got to play around with all the controls. Even had the headset on a little later on and got to hear some radio traffic and stuff. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then he met with the probation department, and the ladies kind of explained what they do as far as the court proceedings and before and afterwards. The state's attorney, Ryan Webb, and Judge Chris Hitzman. And then he also got to walk, there's a tunnel behind there that leads to the judge's chambers. It's kind of sacred ground. I've never been there. I don't know too many people that have, but Henry got to travel that with the judge. Back to the police department, kind of used some heavy duty equipment. And then in the afternoon, you got to see some canine demonstration with drug detection work and article searching. And then last but not least, you got to see this was the inside drone being flown. The operator uses goggles. It's all displayed on the screen. And he's got a phone in front of Henry, which is also displaying exactly what the operator's seeing. So I think they went and found you, didn't they, Nathan?
Yeah. I hit it best I could.
And then lastly, you got to oversee the outside drone, which I think you thought was pretty cool, except for the sun kept getting in his eyes. And at the very end, you got some Waterloo Police Department merchandise.
Yeah, one of those stuffed dogs.
We got one stuff on. All right.
Fire extinguishers?
Yeah. Get a whole little fire extinguisher. Those were just loaded that morning, so that's why they're.
We were expecting a fire.
Yeah. So we had all the officers drop those off that morning to get ready loaded. But all in all, I think it was a great experience for Henry and everybody involved. I know I enjoyed it. Can't wait to do it again.
Actually, this is the first time for this, and this was something that was been on at Human Support Services. Yeah.
That was it on that. And then another update on our cars. We recently went and obtained those. And they were dropped off at Datatronics to get outfitted. And they gave about end of September, so I'm thinking hopefully October we'll have them in our fleet operation.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep, that's all I got. Unless you guys have any questions.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
JR, you did actually miss something. So we would actually went out to pick up a new truck that you approved the last Monday. We got out there and it wasn't white. And looking at it online, it was white. Looking at it on the screen was white. Except when we got out there, it was gray. So we wanted to find another one. So he took the transaction back and we'll approve a different one this coming Monday.
Oh.
Okay. You're up.
Can I approach?
May you approach.
Wow. Stan, that's something. That's what I
At least you didn't say mother man.
Wow.
Wait, sorry.
Oh, yeah, okay, thanks.
You gonna pass those?
Just a
little light reading. Yeah.
A lot of numbers here.
So the document that's in front of you right now is some information that was shared with me from a tax accountant with the Schnooks.
Okay.
I reached out to them some time ago. I reached out to Schnooks and Walmart just to try to get an idea of what the revenue was that we had received from them. That's what they provided me for the past 12 months. So $230,000 is what we got just in the 1% from the grocery, just from Schnooks. That's just from Schnooks. It doesn't, I mean, we still have Walmart, Schneider's, which I never even thought about them, honestly, until the other day, and Roll. If I get the information from Walmart, they said they had to check with their legal department. I will share that information with you guys too. I think it was a really like a good eye opener just to see how much we have gotten just from Schnooks alone.
$230K just from Schnooks.
And this is their food sales only, which is a direct one-for-one match to what they report as
Yes.
grocery to the state.
Correct. Yep. He said that that's the remitted taxes relating to just the 1% on the food. So, yep, they were able to break that down for me and provide that to me, which I was very appreciative of.
Yeah.
This is actually the first time we've actually gotten a real number that we believe is correct.
What is? Yeah, that is 100% correct.
So my estimate of $425,000 is
Might be a little bit worse.
probably not going to be close.
And also, I guess I wanted to touch base on the 1% because I feel like a lot of people might be confused with it's not a new tax that we are imposing. And this is something that's been since January 1 of 1990. We've been receiving this revenue from, the state. It gets reported, it gets charged, sent to the state, they send it back to us. This is not a new revenue source. This is something that's been happening for many years. It is just something that we are going to continue. I did send off the ordinance to the Illinois Department of Revenue, so they have that now. I just think there was a lot of confusion out there. People think that this is a new tax that we're going to start charging them. They're not going to see any difference whenever they go to the store. Everything will continue just the same way as it was, as it has for the past 30-something years. So, that's it for the grocery tax, unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if any of you have seen in your email or got any communications about the INL, the conference that's coming up. We do have that. The advanced online registration deadline is Friday, September the 5th. After that, there's going to be extra fees added to the registration. So if anybody's planning on attending, we have until September the 5th, so we don't have to pay the extra fees.
And if you would like to plan to attend, please contact Sarah.
Yeah. The hotel reservation deadline is Wednesday, August 27th. So, if you guys are going to go.
If you haven't attended this before, it's probably a good idea to attend it once and then decide whether you want to go back or not. There are a lot of good sessions, some not so great, but you don't actually know until you get into the session.
And I can share some information with you guys if you don't have anything as of recent. I could forward you the emails that I've received from IML. And then the last thing I have is the IML RMA renewal packet has been completed. It's been sent off to them. We should hear something back in October. I was contacted by another insurance company, Worthy Insurance, and they wanted to see if we would be interested in getting a quote from them. So I wanted to reach out to you to talk to you guys about that today to see if you would want me to share some of our renewal information that was sent to IML RMA with Worthy to get a quote to see what they have to offer.
Yeah, I don't see why not. So it's good to check back to make sure it's on track. Yep. All insurance?
It's just for not for the workers, not for the health insurance. Right. This is just for the, everything that we get from IML RMA.
Yeah.
So.
And normally, when we do that, no one else comes close to it.
Yeah, the property liability and workers' comp insurance.
A But you should always look at that at least every other or every third year.
Yeah, so they said if I get that to them sometime by the middle of this month, hopefully they'll have something back to us prior to us getting our IML RMA back. So I'll send that out and then hopefully get back
Go
to
ahead
you.
with that.
That is it. Does anybody have any questions here?
Thanks.
Thanks.
Sarah?
I don't have a ton tonight, so I'm going to keep my report brief. I did hand out a updated upcoming events sheet, so you can look over that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. But the one thing, just a reminder to let me know if you plan to attend the Southwest Illinois Council of Mayors meeting, so I can get our RSVP in if I haven't heard from you already. Then the mask playbills, Alderman Hopkins had brought this up as a suggestion to look into, just to support our local theater group and the arts in the community. I did reach out to Mask, and we are able to get into this season's sponsorships. So we went ahead and did a full page. It's $300, and we get included in all 5 of the playbills. So I think that's a great way to support our local theater and what they do for our community, not just our residents, but bringing people into town. So the ad, it just shows our support and also encourages people to go visit our local businesses when they're here in town to see a play. So that's what's going to be included in the next 5 playbills for the next mass season coming up that starts in September.
Hotel, motel, that.
Yes. Let's see. And then the last thing I have, which I'm really excited about, is to show you all our website. This, I'll zoom in, don't worry. This is, after several revisions, working with 618 Creative, this is what we have come up with for our home page. Whoops, too much, okay. Slow it down here, okay. Obviously still draft format, it's not live. This is just a screenshot. So we looked at Google Analytics and the last year's activity from our current site, and we found the pages that are most visited right now. Those are the quick links that you see underneath the 3 photos. The 3 photo look is new as well, that we can interchange those based on the seasons or things that we want to highlight in the community. It'll work much better than the banner format that we have now. That's hard to find the landscape photos to work well in that format. We also have our recent events, because that is something that is shown that is visited quite a bit. Obviously, this is stock. It's just it'll be different across the board for recent news. And then our events is now going to have a calendar where people can toggle back and forth between the city events versus community events based on what they're looking for. They can also go to the big calendar and view everything, and then they'll be listed here to the side that they can get more information. We have a little information here. These numbers will tick up whenever they are viewed. And then here at the bottom, it's not populated yet, but it will pull in the last several news feeds from our Facebook page. So that way that'll be on our home screen as well. And then the footer links aren't completed, but that'll be the look of it. So I wanted to share this with you all, see if you have any initial comments on that. The next step is to build the interior pages, finalize the content. I have a good jump on that already, but I'm going to meet with all of the management with the content that fits their departments to make sure that we have everything that we want for the website.
Looks good.
Yeah,
Looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks like it'd be a lot easier on mobile too.
Yeah. Oh, that was another thing. Yes, that is our big goal is to make it mobile friendly. And you can see we have popped out the search bar as well.
Yeah.
So that way it makes it easy for people to see that they can really just look for whatever they are trying to find on our site. That's kind of buried in the site currently. So I am very happy with it. I hope you all like it as well.
I like it.
That's great.
Good.
Cool.
A lot of hours of Sarah's and 618 Creative, and went into this, and then they would come here and give us a demo and say, we don't like this, we do like this, and to get to this point.
Yeah. Finally, I just had them come here and we just did it live. Hey, let me see what that looks like. Nope, don't like that, put it back. Until we got to where we were both very happy with the final outcome here. Good. So I will continue working on the interior pages and hopefully we will see some good progress now that we're to this. This was the big jumping point. You had to have this first. So, oh, and then lastly, because I saw them as I was coming up here, if you've noticed the last strands of lights here closest to us, they've been flashing. They are disconnected from the main set or where a part had to be ordered. It should be fixed soon. So, yeah. Yeah. No, it's not set that way. They are, something happened to the connection. They had to get a part and it's ordered and it should be fixed. Just so y'all know. Anything else? Yeah. No, I think that was a great idea. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Natalie?
No report, Mayor.
Wow, you're better than everybody else. So in our last Monroe County Economic Development meeting, they decided to write a check back to all of the entities for $1,000 since the big solar farm came out of it. So the only stipulation is that you need to spend that money on economic development, something in order to bring more business, whatever, in order to our communities. We talked about it today, and I think we're going to use our $1,000 on the, is it
AO Creative, the digital marketing.
AO Creative, that we just agreed on. It was $9,000, and we'll use $1,000 from this in order to pay on that, and then that will satisfy that. Obviously, there's been a lot going on in the water. I would say that I appreciate everything that JR and Nate have been doing in order to basically to flesh out everything in this process to make sure that we're not missing anything. FOIAs to everyone in order to find out when exactly everything happened, to get CCs to the city on everything. Again, our water quality is great. There's nothing wrong with our water quality, but getting everything, all our T's crossed and I's dotted has been kind of a problem. So, questions? Committee reports. July 21-25 Economic Development Committee meeting.
The meeting minutes were graciously provided by Michelle. I believe she did an excellent job. A motion to approve these meeting minutes.
No move.
Now second.
First and second. Jordan. One correction, I think Jordan's name spelled with an O, not an A.
Oh, it happens all the time.
Yeah, I know.
I know you correct me.
Oh.
You've done that quite a few times, Michelle, but everybody else does it too. So
I keep doing it.
I sometimes catch it and sometimes I don't.
All in favor to approve these meeting minutes as presented with Jordan's name fixed? Aye. Aye. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. The July 21 Ordinance Committee meeting minutes.
You should all have them in front of you. They look great. They want to make a motion to approve.
No move.
Mr. Hopkins?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Most. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes approved.
Comments? Bobby?
Just,
Keep in mind it's 8:42.
I will take it off.
That was a hint.
You know, as I was sitting listening to my guests, and those are literally my neighbors that came to join us tonight over in Creekside, and two words came to mind: force majeure. Remember when the city went through that with the gas?
I do.
And this is really for Jordan's really uplift. You know, the city got hit with a just incredible rate increase with their gas. And the city stepped up and helped everyone in the city at that time on that force majeure. And similar to that, I don't think anything like that will happen this time. But we'll have to evaluate the situation, and if it means just looking on individual bills, we'll do that on the committee. But it is a tough situation, and I think the city will be prepared to go through it. But we've been through similar, and I think we'll come out with the right decisions as we come out with the majority. And again, you've hit on it too, Mayor. JR and Nathan, you did a tremendous job in presentation. You really were prepared, and it's just nice to be a part of this whole setup. Thank you for making the city proud. That was it.
I would just clarify that a force majeure was actually something that happened to the entire city and basically to the vast majority of the United States, and that's not similar to this situation. But thank you. Joel?
It was a crisis, I'm saying. You know, it was a crisis, and we went through a crisis at that time.
I don't have anything.
Matt?
Nothing.
Jim?
I have nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, I just want to thank also Nate and JR for giving all that information, and for our guests coming too. We need to hear from our residents, you know, face to face, hear this information, what's going on, what your concerns are. I also really appreciate all the information we gave out in this utility meeting. I'm big on us being transparent, and we can't be any more transparent than this. Like we're airing everything out and showing everything. So I love it, and I'm glad we're doing it.
Thanks, Brad. Nice final.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Greg. Good catch, Gary.
Have a good one. I'm not even go yet.
That's true. We've got a couple more days.
Don't forget, Brad, when you get down there, I'm bringing like donuts, maybe honey's.
I'll hold you to that.
I know, I'll be getting texts. 8 a.m. Can't start my day.
They started at 7.
Okay. I ain't gonna be here at 7.
What's that?
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
In a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye? 8:45. Not be a record.
Not a record.